your younger years were quite different from the last year and a half. You did a lot of traveling. Tell me how that was, and how and where you grew up, because you grew up in multiple places, I understand.
I feel like it's very interesting. If I look back, like my life, it's been kind of a transition from a small town to the big city. If you kind of see in India, if you've traveled a bunch, you would realize that Bombay is kind of a really fast city. I would even say that maybe it's the fastest and the most expensive, probably. So coming from Roorkee, which is completely opposite of this place, which is in time moves slower. And there, the familiarity between people is used to be at least much more, and there is a sense of naivety that comes with being in a protected kind of an environment. I grew up in a campus. My father was a professor in the University of Roorkee, which later became IIT Roorkee. And just growing up in the campus, having friends there, kind of had a very sheltered life inside the campus. Then your school was right there, 5 minutes away from your house. You could literally hear the school and walk to school, cycling around. It was kind of like an innate and kind of a childhood. And slowly from there, I did my college in Bhopal, which was slightly bigger than Roorkee, but not that big, which was kind of a shock to me and my system at that time. Just understanding, meeting people from different parts of the country, living in a hostel life there. Then gradually moving from there to Bombay, which was kind of a huge shock for me. Just the pace of the city and the people and how people deal with things and practicality of life, time, everything was very different. In fact, it was so harsh for me that I had to kind of move back to Delhi. So then I moved to Delhi for 5 years. I was there, which was kind of more familiar because as a child I used to visit Delhi quite often to visit friends and relatives. So I was more familiar with it. And then eventually when I felt that I'm kind of ready for Bombay again, I moved back to Bombay, because the first time when I came here I realized that this is completely surely the city I want to be in. It's a city where if you have a crazy idea, somebody's going to put money on it. So I think the only kind of treasure I had in my life was crazy ideas. So I had to eventually kind of come to Bombay, and when I felt I was ready, I moved back.
Yeah.
So now I'm here so it's quite crazy.
I've been to a bunch of IITs, and a lot of the students joke about how the professors get into bang-ups when they go into the city because they're not used to driving. Like they literally, like there's one car and no other traffic. And then when they head out into the city, they're like, what's happening? So
I mean, when we were growing up, there were not even cars. We were all on bicycles.
On bicycles, I guess, or two-wheelers maybe. Yeah. I know that you didn't start off with the career that you're in now, which is singer, songwriter, all of it. You started off looking at hotel management as a professional option, right?
If I would be really honest, maybe I started off being a musician. In school, I was just playing music and getting by. And that was the tool I was using to be popular and get attention. I was really enjoying it. But then, as you start approaching your 12th standard, people start asking you what you're going to do in life. And I felt I got confused at that time. And then I had to pick an answer because people were asking questions. And somehow I picked up hotel management just like that without thinking, probably as basic as I'll get to work in a 5-star hotel, not really thinking about it. And soon when I was doing my hotel management, I realized that, I was not enjoying it as much. I was just enjoying the company of friends and people there, but not really the course. So I went back to doing what I was doing in school, which was singing. So I was singing in restaurants, I was singing in cafeterias, hostel. I'm not making much money off it. I was like doing some weekend gigs at a hotel where I was singing. I was doing some wedding gigs with an orchestra and trying to make some money out of it. But that was even at that point, I feel I was not sure if I'm going to make it a career. And to be very honest, I didn't even think about making career or work. I was still very, very naive. I didn't feel that people grow old. I didn't feel like life is practical and people live. I was still living in my own universe, and I felt that it's going to be like this. And 2 times it's happened in my life. Once when my school finished, and once my college finished, I didn't realize that I'm probably not going to see these people for maybe even till today. Like, some of those people I've not met since the time that school farewell happened and the college farewell happened. You kind of, at least I kind of never thought about it. Like, I felt like, yeah, maybe in a few months we're going to see each other again, but I was not thinking that far.
You said that you went.
If that makes any sense, I think that's wrong things I'm telling you
I hear you.
about not thinking.
I think it's nostalgia. It's the melancholy of life, I suppose. And you have this unique gift of channeling that into something so beautiful, which is songwriting. So that's amazing. What was it that really sort of hit you about Bombay, where you had to take some time out? I mean, was it the ruthlessness of the place? Was it financial pressures? What did you find really sort of difficult to deal with after a while?
I mean, it was very hard in terms of I had no money and didn't have work. And there's a sense of kind of anxiety that sets in Bombay when you don't have work, which happens to me even now. Like, I'm being a freelancer, if there's a lean period, you start getting kind of anxious because everyone's kind of working and everyone's there, and it's really expensive. It's probably like, now that I go travel overseas, sometimes I feel that Bombay is probably even more expensive than Berlin or Tokyo. It like really is hard to survive, and every moment when you're not working, you feel you're wasting your time, which kind of helps me as well. The kind of chaos and the tension helps me to perform and doesn't make me like sit back and just relax. But at the same time, if you don't have work, it can get really hard. So a combination of that anxiety that I had no work and what the hell am I doing here because everyone's working, combined with kind of having literally no money with me. So it was hard at that time.
I read in one of your interviews, though, that you talked about how your key love is still writing music, and you did that with very little money, and a lot of people came forward and helped you with a space to stay and money to feed you, and introducing you to people, which is rare, especially in a tough and competitive space like Bombay. Did you have a lot of friends who sort of, helped you? Did you have family? What kind of helped you stay up through that lean patch?
I didn't have any friends when I came in. I had hardly any family, and also the family I didn't want to meet because was kind of rebelling against what I had studied and was not doing that. So I didn't want to answer many questions. I was trying to maintain a safe distance. I made new friends. It was completely strangers helping each other out. When I say that it's tough, one thing I realized very soon in Bombay is that it's tough for everyone. And it's very interesting in that thing. Maybe it's a thing about the subcontinent, but people really help each other and they relate with each other when they see themselves in you. So I just was very fortunate to kind of meet and bump into people who were very kind and gracious to give me food or place to sleep, or sometimes even clothes. Like, it was just very it was strange and nice.
Yeah, and
very beautiful, actually.
Yeah, and I'm sure you paid it forward, because one usually does when you're touched so deeply by the kindness of others.